It's India's moment on the global stage. Everyone's talking about the G20 summit that's happening in the national capital. And on G20 week, we've been getting you all the biggest newsmakers, the biggest influential minds of the country, and of course, spiritual voices also, what this means for India and why it's referred to really as the India story. It's my pleasure to be joined here on India Today by Sri Ravi Shankar, Art of Living founder. Sri Ravi Shankar, thank you very much for joining us on India Today. I know you're joining me right now from Boone in North Carolina. So let me just start off by asking you, what is the perception really of India right now globally? And do you believe it's changed? You've traveled far and wide. So do you think it's changed over the last many years?
Definitely. It's so visible, so obvious. India's power has risen. India's prestige has risen. And we are anyway knowledge-based industry, and our knowledge, whether it is IT or spiritual, has really taken the world over.
In such a case, do you really see G20 as an opportunity to kind of put the focus also on India and how we lead spiritually across the world?
G20 is happening every year. From different countries, the participation has been happening, and these are the few countries which make major decisions, take major decisions for the development. And now this year has been the chance for India. India has done extremely well, and we have opened up the whole country. Usually G20 happens in one location, but we have made the whole country the platform for G20. And so it has really created a big buzz. And people have come to know what India is all about. It's not just a biggest economy, or it's also culturally vibrant, religiously tolerant, and spiritually uplifting. And today, the world needs peace.
Yeah.
People are fed up with all the mental health issues and, war in Europe. So India is the solution, I would say. Yeah.
So how do you really see India playing a role, particularly, as you mentioned, at a time of global conflict? Historically, we've always been for peace. Some of our biggest leaders, some of our most influential faces, historic figures, have always propagated peace. India is a land of peace, essentially. So now that we're hosting the G20 summit at such a crucial juncture, when there's a Russia-Ukraine conflict as well, how do you really see, Sri, India's role in that?
India's voice has always been saved, and we are very sensible in whatever we are saying, because we are just and sensible. This is something that world has started to notice. Number one, we are sensible, and we cannot be bullied. Number two. Number three, we are very sensitive. We are sensitive to the feelings and to the emotions of people of the entire world. And the mindsets. So we in this country have embraced such diversity. See, we have a communist government in one part of the country, and we have multi-party democracy, which is not present in anywhere else in the world. There are bi-party democracies, but we have so many parties. And then on top of it, we are the largest population in a country that the world is seeing today, and young population. And so we have a lot of things to offer to the world. Of course, I would say spirituality is the need of the world today, when there is so much of distress and aggression and depression that is clogging the youth population.
It's an important point that you've raised, but it's not always been the case that India's power, spiritually or otherwise, has been recognized. What really do you think has changed in the last few years that's made this transformation in India's image, in India's perception?
When we become stronger, world notices us. And when we are vocal, when we present ourselves the way with dignity we need to, and get out of the colonial mindset, then, everyone would appreciate that. See, if we feel bad about ourselves, we have low self-esteem, we feel meek and weak, we hide our own tradition, our culture, and we feel subservient to everything else, then of course world will not recognize you. And now we have stood up in the past few years. We have really been proud about our culture. We have been proud about our achievement. We have been very firm in our stance, what we think is right. And then, things have started falling in place.
In the last few months, since we've taken over as the G20 host, since we've been the G20 presidency has been with us essentially, we've also seen a lot of events that highlight India's traditions, that highlight India's culture. Do you think that's a welcome move essentially, Gurudev? Because, there's a lot of talk about embracing modernity, but here you have India deeply rooted in culture and tradition.
The beauty is we are never against modernity. See, Indian culture has always been adaptation, has been its language, and it has always embraced new things in it. So, we are like an old tree which has deep roots, ancient roots, and fresh leaves.
How does this kind of an event to you really ensure that India's story is spoken of globally, that our reputation, our place in the global world order really changes?
As I said, we had to speak with confidence, not be apologetic about our roots, our tradition, and really put forth the best we have. Otherwise, we are always seen as some sort of backward, and outdated believers. That is not the case. We have the real, wisdom and scientific temper. And that's what is most essential today. On one side, we are gifted with such nature. You have Himalayas, the snow cloud mountains to beach, warm beaches of south, and we have so many languages, and our food varieties are something that cannot stop charming people around the world. So, and our clothes, our jewelry, our tourism, and our spiritual wisdom, yoga and meditation today are practiced by almost 1/3 of world's population. I know 42 years back when we started, it was not the in thing, or it was not the narration of the mainstream. Today it's different. So we have a lot to offer to current situations in the world, like mental depression and violent behaviors in people. Yeah.
Very good points. Shri, when we're talking about India's culture and taking it to the world, I know that you and Art of Living is also involved in a World Culture Festival. Do you believe that India's tradition really is setting the stage for us to be recognized globally, that our traditions is what everyone's celebrating?
Yes. We have said the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that's been our slogan from ancient days. And we have always considered the whole world as our family. And so in Washington, D.C., in the National Mall, we'll be having the World Culture Festival, the 4th World Culture Festival. The first we had in Bangalore, second we had in Berlin on the 75th anniversary of World War II. In the same place from where World War II was announced, we had World Peace Meditation from the stadium, Olympic Stadium in Berlin. Then we had in Delhi. And now it will be in Washington, D.C., end of this month, yes. And people from 180 countries are participating in it.
That sounds truly amazing. And I do believe that these kind of events essentially open up India's prospects, and everyone knows all about the India story. Gurudev, just before I let you go, there is also another issue that I wanted to address away from G20. I'm not sure if you've been seeing all of this talk about Sanatan Dharma that's happening right now in the country. There have been many who are questioning whether it's linked to Hinduism, whether it's actually a principle that propagates casteism. I wanted to know, what's your view as a spiritual guru on this, Sri Sri?
See, Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma has always been progressive, and reforms have always been welcomed here. And right from the time of Adi Shankara, and even before, reforms have been part of the Dharma. And if you want to eliminate a Dharma which is pro-reform, it doesn't make any sense. I don't comment on the foolish, stupid comments. Yeah, if you say castes, you want to eliminate caste system, yes. That is justified. But if you say a dharma itself has to be eliminated, it doesn't make any sense. I don't comment on such,
So they're essentially saying that Sanatana Dharma propagates casteism. Is that true?
No. See, if you see, there are caste system is prevalent throughout the world in the form of profession. And professional clubs are there, professional groups are there. That's all the caste system is. Janmana jayate shutra karmana dvija uchyate. Our scripture says it's only by profession you take on a caste. Caste is nothing but a profession. It's not that which comes to you from birth.
In fact,
if you are born in an atheist family, suppose you have freedom to, you think you have a freedom to become a theist? Can you become a believer? If you are a family of DK, what you will say? That becomes another caste, right? Dravidakariam has become another caste. No, we need to rise above the petty things. We need to bring reforms, no doubt. There should be no oppression. And if you see 1,000 rishis in the Vedas, most of them are from what we call Dalit class, our lowest classes, caste. So there is place for everybody, wherever you are born, and whichever family you are born, you have infinite possibility to become the leader, to rise to the top.
Okay.
That is what Sanatan Dharma has always said. So cleverly, some people said, don't ask the origin of rishis, because when you go to the origin of rishis, the rigid caste system which was followed will simply fall away, fall apart. And from Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Aparya Samaj, and Kabir, and Vallar in Tamil Nadu, and many saints are all from different castes. Caste system became rigid somewhere in the middle. But if you say the entire dharma should be eliminated, that doesn't make sense to me. In fact, it has infiltrated into Christianity and in Islam also. That's why reservation is being sought even for Dalit Christian and Dalit Muslims. On one side you say that, another side, such statements, as I said, it's not worth commenting much on that.
Okay, this has been incredibly enlightening. Thank you very much, Sri Ravi Shankar, for joining us here on India Today and candidly sharing your views on both G20 and, of course, the controversy on Sanatan Dharma. Thank you very much.